Yo, Mo. Sup, Matt? Did you hear about the French Muslim who got arrested? Was he a terrorist? Nope. Was he accused of terrorism? Nope. Was he a drug dealer? Nuh-uh. Did he punch a baby? He spoke up against Islamophobia.
Assalamu alaikum, what's going on everybody? Just recently in the news we saw that in France a man called Idriss Hamidi, he is the founder of a charity called Baraka City. His home was raided and he was arrested. Apparently French police decided to kick down his front door like they were the Kool-Aid man. They went in there and allegedly they were violent towards him and they beat him and then arrested him, and even though he wasn't resisting arrest, and allegedly his wife, who was not wearing a headscarf of course because she wasn't expecting the police at dawn. When the police came in, she went to reach for her headscarf and of course they didn't let her. She was allegedly verbally assaulted or abused and she was handcuffed, all while their 4 children were watching. But of course the children also have to put their hands up like they were criminals too to make sure they don't reach for a weapon, because a 4-year-old and a whatever other year-old are all crazy radicals, right? They start young, don't they? So apparently they gave this man the treatment that you would reserve for a drug dealer with 1,000 pounds of coke in his backyard and 4 bodies in his trunk. He was given the VIP treatment. When I saw all of this, initially of course it makes your blood boil, but then I said, you know what? Let me just calm down, take a deep breath, and let me not just react, let me respond to this. So I said, you know what? Let's assume the police have some reason, some actual probable cause for doing this. They actually have evidence against this person. So let me do some research about him. So I did some research about Idriss and Baraka City. Here's a quick background. Baraka City was founded in 2008 and it has a humanitarian mission. It's a not-for-profit organization and its main purpose is to help underprivileged populations, disadvantaged populations, be it in France or in the Middle East and Africa. They help with things like food shortages, health and medical crisis, helping with providing water, construction, etc. So far so good, right? So I figured, all right, so have they had any encounters with the law, any troubles with the law, any controversies? Did this man fraud people out of their money? Did this man misappropriate resources in the charity? What's the problem? Here's what I found so far. Here are the 3 main controversies that came to my attention. Number 1, in 2015, the organization was being monitored because authorities believed that these Salafi Muslims were extremists. Apparently they were being monitored because the charity made multiple trips to Syria. Now what was happening in Syria? Well, you know, there's a war going on there, and I believe part of the charity's mission is to help disadvantaged populations in France, Middle East, and Africa. And I think Syria and people and victims of the war fall under disadvantaged populations, especially Muslim, in the Middle East in Africa. But of course, if any Muslim travels to Syria and comes back to a Western country, they immediately accuse you of, fundamentalism. Initially, I don't object to this. Honestly, if you're going to travel to a war zone and you come back, you should be vetted. I don't think that in and of itself is Islamophobia. No, I think that's just a country taking necessary precautions. But when you're not an individual just going for fun and for undisclosed reasons, you're part of an organization, a not-for-profit organization, with your main mission is helping disadvantaged populations in that part of the world. And you go to that part of the world to help, and when you come back, you're accused of fundamentalism and extremism. Now that falls under Islamophobia. And then one of the employees' homes in 2015 was raided because he was accused of being extremist and fundamentalist, etc. And from what I've seen, they didn't find anything. So these are just accusations and absent of any evidence. Number 2, the second controversy happened in Bangladesh. One of the employees is part of an event there, I believe to help Rohingya Muslims who were oppressed and continue to be oppressed by the extremist Buddhist government. One of the employees was at one of the schools there, I believe as part of an event, and he was asking and inquiring about any Rohingyas, if they know about any of the issues or struggles happening so the charity can help. It seems like the authorities caught wind of this, they didn't like this. The excuse that they used for detaining him was that he didn't use his real name, he used his Muslim name because he was a convert, and he didn't use the name on his civil ID, because some converts when they convert, they decide that, they want a Muslim name, etc. You don't have to do that, but some people do. So looking at it from that perspective, okay, I can see their perspective, but I also understand his perspective for using his Muslim name. He's going to a school, talking to Muslim populations, he's going to use a Muslim name to be more relatable, but nothing else came out of it. Number 3. Apparently, while looking at their financial statements in 2013, the charity appeared to have 3 million euros in revenue or donation revenue, and they had approximately 1.9 million euros and profits. Now, before I even get started with this, as an auditor, I can tell you that most charities that I've seen do end up using 80 to 90% of the revenue that comes in for certain events. In Canada, there's a certain percentage you need to use, I believe, otherwise you can no longer be registered as a charity. Because being a charity means you're tax exempt, which means that some people might be willing to start up a charity just to hoard wealth. So that's why you have to be audited and you have to be careful, and government has to make sure that these charities aren't being misappropriated. But no evidence of funds coming in from undisclosed scary locations like terrorist financing or money laundering. Nothing. If there was anything, I guarantee you it would be on the front page newspaper. So nothing came out of it. But personally, I would say, worst case scenario, you tell them, you know what, if you don't use all this money that you have, I don't know how much cash they had, by the way, this is just revenues and profits, but let's assume the worst and they had all this money that they're just not using. I would just tell them, hey, use it for your charitable causes, or we're gonna tax you on it and you're gonna lose your charity status. But that's it. In conclusion, these are the three main controversies or interactions with the law that I saw by Baraka City Charity. A lot of everything that happened was just accusations, but absent any evidence. And now most recently, Idris, the founder, gets his home raided, gets arrested, and his hands look like this after the arrest. This is the kind of treatment you would give to someone who is not only accused of something, but there's hard evidence that they've killed someone, not just accused of things, especially when you do it in front of his wife and children. And when I read up on Idris as well, he has some controversial statements. I'm not defending this guy. He has some controversial statements where he was saying things during like sermons or speeches, but even then, that was not the reason he was arrested. So why was he arrested? Apparently, it was because he was speaking against state Islamophobia, which I have no idea what that means. Like what, he said something, he didn't like it, you arrested him? I'm waiting for more information on that. But that seems very dodgy. And that's very dangerous because with the anti-separatism bill coming in, it looks like we can expect much more of these kinds of attacks, these kinds of raids, this kind of treatment, whereby all the government needs to do is say, you are an extremist. No evidence, nothing. And you are guilty until proven innocent. I'll be waiting for more information as it gets revealed, and hopefully this issue gets resolved and the parties involved get justice. Just a quick update since I made the last video. More charities like Baraka City have been dissolved actually, and very little information has come out as to why this happened. But this is a very dangerous precedent for France to set, and I hope that all parties involved do end up getting justice. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like and share this video, subscribe to my channel, and until next time, I'm that Muslim guy. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you.